Hello and welcome. Today I have 5 pointers that will help you to write your drafts. Okay, we have finished the planning stage. You have written your outlines. You have thought about the audience, the purpose of your text, the length, and now you have to write. Let me tell you that I have seen a lot of students struggling at this moment because they want to make everything perfect. Perfect sentences, perfect grammar, perfect punctuation, including the ideas, etc., etc., etc. And that makes the job really hard. So let's see these 5 tips. Right now, we're not going to waste time. And I want you to take them into consideration when writing your drafts, especially the first one, of course. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is to focus. Focus on what? First, focus on the content, okay? That's the most important thing at this moment. Make sure that you develop your ideas with enough support. Include examples, research, descriptions. You can include direct quoting if it is possible or if you are required to. You have to include the ideas that your audience is expecting to read. And you have to be careful with the unity of your text. What does it mean? Don't include ideas that are not related to the topic of your piece of writing. Second, clarity. Be careful with the connectors that you use, the transition signals. Think about the relationship of the ideas that you are explaining or that you are arguing about. And if it is possible, use a list of connectors that you can check and include appropriately. For example, if you are explaining similarities, use connectors like likewise. If you are explaining a contrast, use connectors like on the other hand, in contrast, however, nevertheless. If you are adding ideas in a paragraph, for example, use connectors like furthermore, moreover, and of course, logical support, things that are really connected to the idea that you are explaining. Tip number 3, organization. And you have to think about the kind of text that you are writing. For example, if you're writing an essay, you know that your essay has to have an introductory paragraph with general ideas, and at the end, a thesis statement that will control what you will include in your essay. Then you need a body where you would develop the thesis statement. And in that body, you will have several paragraphs. Each of the paragraphs should have a topic sentence, supporting ideas with details, and a concluding sentence that could also serve as a transition to the next paragraph. And at the end, you have to include a concluding paragraph to summarize the ideas and to finish that essay. And the same should be done with other kinds of texts. Tip number 4, use the tools that are available to work. For example, don't forget your outline. If you do it, it's for a reason. Go through it as you write. Don't keep it aside or keep it in a folder as an assignment that your teacher asked you to do. Use the dictionary. There is nothing wrong about it. Unless it's an exam in which you are not allowed to. But if you are at home or if you are in class working with your classmates, use it. Use the notes that you have taken. For sure, if you want to write a good text, most of the times you have to do some research and you have to take notes. Use those notes. You don't need to memorize them. And finally, tip number 5, be strategic. You cannot write a text like a bullet train. Start with the first word and finish with the last one without even reading what you are writing. So reread. Stop to reread what you have written several times. There isn't anything wrong with that. Stop and think. Am I doing a good job? Am I developing the correct ideas? Am I including the information my audience is expecting from me? Ask yourself questions as you reflect, stop, and think. Analyze and interpret. It's not just mentioning ideas. You have to analyze the information that you have, for example, in your notes. Interpret it and write it in an appropriate way. Adding the elements that I told you before, examples, descriptions, the research that you have done. And finally, limit distractions. Look for a place where you don't get interruptions. Be careful with the mobile phones and the social media. Put it aside. So these are the 5 tips that I wanted to share with you. And I hope that you find them useful. See you next time. Bye-bye.